So the Bears are about to lose their shirt. PCE just came in absolutely gold for the Bulls, and the market is screaming to new all-time highs. Hell, the market was already screaming to new all-time highs before the PCE number even came out. And we also got Jerome Powell giving us the hint that this is what the numbers were going to come in at exactly 2.9 and 2.6, flat for both, pricing in exactly the scenarios that the market is looking for, which is cool, calm, and collected, leading to a massive blowout on the market and heading higher as we speak. Even though Nvidia did not set up earnings expectations as it did previously and was a little bit disappointing in some people's regards, I would say, well, 180 is the lowest you could get this thing actually, Bears, and that is absolutely pathetic. Nvidia actually made a new all-time high on the open, check that bark like it always does, and then sold off a little bit. So if you guys missed the dip buying opportunity on Nvidia, that's pretty much what it was. It was down to 170. 50-day moving average still holding around 170 as well. And yeah, that's pretty much like the sum and substance of Nvidia's earnings. It was really good earnings. People had a sour reaction on it, and guess what? Nvidia's probably going to lead the entire market right back up because it's brewing up a storm. We're going to be talking about it in just a second. If we look at the 4-hour, we can see that we already got the buy signal coming in on the 4-hour. If we jump over to the daily, we can see as well that we haven't actually curved bearish. So again, just all these things piling up to be very, very bullish signs. But you guys really want to know about the market. The market right now is just screaming higher. We got the buy signal a couple days ago, heading into the beginning of this week. RSI is about to cross over, heading into the PCE number. And yeah, that's just setting up to be a beautiful rally. Now, again, we are also heading into towards the end of the year, along with the Fed expected to cut rates. So looking at all this, well, it's simple that we're setting up to be very, very bullish, right? We're setting up to be in a bullish stance heading into this number. Post number, again, the Fed expectations 86% of one rate cut, but I would also like to note that December minimum 2 rate cuts, 3 is on the table. I would expect these odds to have completely changed to now 3 rate cuts this year, especially with all the drama that is going on with the Fed chairs, because well, if you guys didn't see that previously, Trump basically fired one of the Fed chairs, and now that Fed chair is asking for a judicial court to step in and stop the Fed from removing her. So it's not like the Fed is supporting this governor or board member to basically sustain their seat. They're just kind of being apolitical, as the Fed should be, right, as they own say, and leading to this big brawl back and forth with it. And it's becoming very, very interesting. But again, the number that everyone really wants to know is this. Is this PCE number right here? 2.9 versus 2.6. That is just basically flat, right? A PCE is the one metric that doesn't really move. So as we're going to see the translation of like the short-term tariff effects that Jerome Powell was talking about, well, they're already here, right? Kind of looking at this data, he's basically saying, hey, this is the peak. That's how I interpret Jerome Powell's comments. And this is going to lead to massive pushes. We can already see in some of the bigger cap stocks, not necessarily in the broader market or not necessarily in Nvidia. We can see the NASDAQ was bullish this entire time, right? Heading up higher, trying to break out. If we go over to this chart right here and actually go to the daily on the NASDAQ, we can see that we are clearly in a holding pattern for the NASDAQ right around 577, and that is setting up to be the weekly blowout, right? The bears failed to hold the weekly breakdown, which means that there's further expansion ahead. I basically said in the weekend deep dive, if you guys didn't catch that, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel for more content like it, where we go over these exact levels so you know exactly what you have to trade. And I also want to drop a little tidbit in just a minute about the VIX and how it's actually affecting the broader market. But with the NASDAQ closing right at the weekly low or the rotationary point from the previous week, that became the setup for this week. As we saw, we've just been chugging higher. RSP as well, just kind of going sideways as the broader market is leading. So the big names are the ones leading, especially a company like Google, breaking out on a weekly level, heading above 215. That is officially blue sky breakout territory. The previous all-time high we broke a couple days ago and now have absolutely shattered it. So Google is one of those stocks that I've owned. I've been talking about it since it was $185 a share. The big push to 195, I bought more and probably will be buying more as this thing is pushing because it's just looking big, beautiful. And we're heading into the Santa Claus rally period, right? Maybe you don't want to put as much money into Nvidia because, well, maybe the earnings didn't, you didn't like them too much. Google had pretty massive earnings. Another company that had massive earnings is Meta. This thing is just so undervalued right now, where it's sitting right at the 50-day moving average. This is a prime opportunity to probably take up Meta. If I had to pick one company to invest in right now, it would be Meta, just because it is primed for a rebound to the upside. A lot of people have been talking about Netflix. I wouldn't, just because this thing has been struggling around this 50-day. I want to see like 1300 come around and hold before I even consider going into Netflix. That's just my opinion. You guys can have yours own as well. The Russell heading to, again, weekly higher highs, pushing, closing towards it. Again, rate cuts are going to be one of those things that are super bullish for the Russell. So this is the one that could definitely run. And we really want to get back up into these like roughly 240 area right here, and going back to even like the 244 previous all-time high, kind of like a double top, and forming, which essentially could be said like the biggest kind of like cup and handle type thing here. Again, that's not really the cleanest pattern in the world, but the Russell was an amazing buying opportunity back in April. It's still an amazing buying opportunity with this V-shaped move, kind of even like inverted head and shoulders forming right here. So the upside will be absolutely massive because small caps have underperformed for many, many years, leading to this thing could easily do 30, 40, 50% in the coming months. And again, push some insane numbers in the next 2 subsequent years. But I did promise you guys a tidbit, and that is the VIX. Hedge funds have begun shorting the VIX. Now, why is this dangerous? Why is this bad? If you get a volatility squeeze, everyone has to basically pile in. It's what they can sell. It really is a true bear squeeze in a bad way then for the market, because everyone's going to be selling the things that they can. But it also means that the hedge funds believe the market is going to be stable, calm, cool, and collected for the foreseeable future. And that's why they're engaging in this trade. They want this thing to come back down towards this like base of like $12, $10, where it's pretty much stagnant. You don't really get a lot of option premium, meaning the market is calm, cool, and collected, and just chugging up higher. We saw this during 2023 to 2024, where the market was basically just calm, cool, and collected, leading to insane 20, 30% years in the S&P and the NASDAQ. Again, we're setting up that same setup right here. No one wants to believe this rally as we climb the wall of worry and head higher. Just simply looking at the chart, the S&P is at all-time highs and chugging higher. NASDAQ was similar, and some of the big names, like we can even go to like Amazon, right? Trying to go to that weekly breakout, another good buying opportunity. Microsoft got back above the 50. Keep an eye on this one to have 2 closes above the 50-day moving average, leading to further expansion. But then again, I was also talking about Meta being the one that I would be looking out to buy. Want to get it above 175, 177 is really where Meta is going to start shining and heading back to all-time highs, blue sky breakout, and then you can make a crap ton of money as this thing goes up. And for inflation, if everyone's worried about inflation, oil prices have been absolutely stagnant, heading down lower. There's no real driver through energy. Again, as this stagnates and becomes less of a driver in inflation, it's going to be a nice boat anchor overall. We can also see yields have been heading down steadily. They are preparing to basically head lower as we speak here, getting ready for like the 20 to cross that 4.7 threshold. A 10-year, which is what mortgages are based off of, is like right at the precipice of breaking down that 4 or 4.2 number and heading down to the 3s again, leading to home builder stocks and mortgage inventory to basically surge. And it would reward builders for building homes, right? So they're going to be taking that risk. They want to be rewarded for them. They don't want to have negative headwinds. And also we can take a look at home prices, that some of the data that got recently revised. Again, we can still see that Florida is a big hub of where people are moving, South Carolina as well. But I think the whole broader market is kind of cooling. You're starting to see more of like a median to cooling markets. California is just absolutely ice cold. I wonder why that is, but median home sale 443,000 heading into the winter time. This is where like kind of seasonality kicks in. This is approximately 1% higher than the year ago, but we can also see the number of homes sold is slowing down comparative to a year ago, which makes sense because the average 30-year fixed mortgage has been at 7% for 2 years. So all this pent-up demand is sitting there with no supply available, and it's going to be a very, very interesting thing when this thing all gets released. So throw it down in the comment section below what you guys think. What do you guys think of Nvidia? Which of the buying opportunities are you going to take advantage of? Are you excited about the market heading up higher? And check out the latest 2 videos in the Discord on the top left. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button down below along with the like. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.